welcome to Culture Gumbo. My name is Will, just with my impeccable, beautiful, lovely co-host here, Shakira, who used to run the polls for George W. Bush. Let's not forget that. And she hates Beyonce. We have a beautiful show. We have an amazing show for you today. Got a lot of great things to talk about. Let's start off with a heat check as usual. Shakira, how are you feeling?
You're gonna ask that question, but right now, no. I am. It is November, and that's all I'm gonna say. I don't have a lot to say today. I'm feeling like change is on the horizon.
Oh, this is gonna be a great
like changes on the horizon, and yeah. And this week, I've learned that I have to make some decisions before the end of this year, and they're not going to be easy. Nothing in life is easy, right? Nothing in life is easy, but I don't know why we choose that end of the year moment where you start to reflect, what did I do this year? Did I accomplish anything this year? Did anything on my vision board happen? Right. You just start to, it's that end of the year. I can smell the cinnamon and the sweet potato pie, which I've been craving for 2 weeks now, and I cannot find a good sweet potato pie to buy.
You'll go get you a patty pie.
Is it good? Is it really that good?
It's sweet as hell, but it's good.
Oh no, I don't want diabetes. I'm just looking for one of them little mini pies, a little something to just savor my, savor or whatever the case may be.
I mean, go try the pie. Go try the pie. It's an experience, you know what I'm saying? And you got to represent for Patty LaBelle. But I would say go try the pie. But I would put it, let me tell you, these motherfuckers, they be buying the pie and they eat the pie fresh out the box. Put them on.
Oh no, it got to go in the oven. I don't like cold pie anyway. I don't like cold sweet potato pie.
Yeah, go copy.
You gotta warm mine up. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll go to Walmart. I think they sell them at Walmart. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, they're every Walmart you can think. It's like crap. It's like the Carter in New Jack City.
I think you know what? When we done with the show, I'm gonna go get me some wings and some patty pie
and some eggnog. Eggnog be popping.
And some egg holler. That's what's gonna happen. So I'm in that season. My family's come to visit this month.
Okay.
That's going to be an interesting Thanksgiving. I'm trying to find a restaurant to book us at, and it's just been a little difficult because people be making it's like sometimes you don't want turkey for Thanksgiving. So I expect the restaurants to sell different stuff, and then on Thanksgiving they all want to sell turkey and cranberry sauce instead of actually selling some stuff from their menu. So
why not do catering at the crib? Instead of everybody going out and doing that, because then you would have leftovers for the next few days. Y'all be in the comforts of your own home. You ain't got to be out there in the hustle and bustle.
Right, but they're all staying at hotels. My apartment's not that big for everybody to be here.
But still, I mean, if they're all going to be, I'm sure you would want everybody to come to the crib and chill and kick it. You know what I'm saying? Or no, okay.
Really? I'm sorry. We could go to the hotel though. They could come to my house. I just, it's limited with space, for now, but we'll see. I do have to figure it out this week though. So that's on my task list. But other than that, how you feeling? How are you feeling? What have you learned this week? It seems like we got a lot of little lessons this week. How are you feeling, Will?
I'm copacetic. I learned that people are super emotional and that they be in their feelings, and that sometimes the person with toxic traits is me. There's something that I'm supposed to retire, and I'm not sure if I'm going to retire it yet, but I'm considering it. I'm strongly considering it.
I think you should consider it.
Mind your business. I'm not going to say it out loud, because I know if I say it out loud, my friends and family that are watching this are literally going to hold my feet to the fire because they all hate it too. But I'm at a place where I am thinking about the opportunity to be better. I know I constantly talk about being better, but I'm truly in a place right now where I'm transitioning a lot of my thoughts to yo, like, you know, embrace where you are right now instead of fighting the fact that like you need to make changes at this point in your life to grow even more to where you want to be. So I'm thinking about love a lot. Um, I'm thinking about the fact that my words have a bigger effect than I ever truly know. I do understand that to some people I have a gift that sometimes I never use it for evil, but sometimes um it comes off as evil because of what I do. So just putting it out there. The one thing I struggle with is the whole thing about me being charismatic. I hate the word I hate the word charismatic. I hate the thought that I'm charismatic. Number one, because it makes me come off as if I'm a hoe and I'm not a hoe. Like, you know what I'm saying? It makes me come off as if, you know, I'm constantly flirting with women. I'm not flirting with women all the time. Yeah, I like to be around women. I think women are amazing. I love Black women in general. You know what I'm saying? Wakanda forever. But I do understand that sometimes the shit that I say comes off as smooth as like cream cheese or like, you know, Big Daddy Kane on the 80s beat. So I'm making these changes because I'm trying to get married out here and I'm trying to be the little spoon. You know what I'm saying? My therapist told me I need to cut a lot of this bullshit out and leave it where it is. So that's what we're gonna be practicing.
Good.
That's what we're gonna do. I don't call this upcoming holiday Thanksgiving. I'm not celebrating that bullshit. It's literally food day. I'm looking forward to having mama's cooking, chilling with my family, getting some good sleep in, watching some football, and relaxing. So yeah, that's just kind of where I am. You know, not doing these podcasts. I love it. 2023 is really going to be going full throttle. We're actually getting ready to move the way that we do Culture Gumbo to a new streaming source. So it'll start to get to people faster, and most likely it's going to start to go live. So I'm just kind of like slowly preparing for the end of the year. I want to get to a point to where, like you said, like, you know, we always do this analytical thing at the end of the year, and I'm working on my vision board. I want to get to a point to where we don't wait until a certain specific time to be like, let's reflect on this. Like, let's reflect on these things when we need to do it. So that's where I am.
Yeah, I'm more right now. It has to be like weekly reflection.
Yeah.
Because the weeks are passing me by.
Yeah.
And I'm not accomplishing what I want to do. So yeah. All right, let's get into the show of our culture news. I'll let you.
Yeah, let's jump into it. So starting off, man, of course, we got some bad news, some fuck news. Federal judge appointed by stupid ass Trump has actually was actually granted a request to put Biden's student loan forgiveness program on hold. This was actually recently decided. So basically right now is the program is actually on hold, and this is after more than 26 million people have already registered for this. So now borrowers are actually going to have
their application and everything.
Oh yeah, I did mine immediately, and it took literally 2 to 3 minutes. And then after I did mine, and I was sending out the link to people, they were coming back and telling me, and this is like 5 minutes after I've done it, they were telling me that the link was no longer available because I know they were doing beta testing for it also. And then the people who did it during the beta testing, we don't have to resubmit, so we're just waiting. So now they're stating that borrowers are going to have to wait for the government's appeal to the Fifth Circuit Court to play out. So it can be kind of tough, but you do have the opportunity to, you know, if you're a borrower, you have the opportunity to subscribe for updates from the Department of Education, and you can check the Federal Student Aid website for further information. Now, they're saying that it could take months for the court to issue a ruling. Now, if it does overturn, then the Biden administration has stated that they're going to begin canceling student debt immediately. As a matter of fact, right before this happened, Biden was saying the checks were going to be going out. Because of course,
they did. Some people did, though, I thought.
I don't know if some people have gotten it already. But what happened is that right when this started happening, Biden said the checks were going out. Of course, some of these dumbass people were just like, "Oh, he's sending the checks to us." No, stupid.
No, I
he's
know.
Sending
people,
the checks.
People aren't smart.
He's sending the checks to the companies who actually hold your loans. So what actually is going to happen now here is that we're actually waiting to see what's going to happen. This is all coming on the stacks of the fact that student loans actually preparing to restart in January. So definitely kind of be on top of your student loans and know exactly where you stand, making sure, if you have that forbearance, if you have deferment time, you can still use that if available, but you want to make sure that you get prepared before those payments start to be put back out there in January.
Yep. Good point. I don't even need to add to that. That's it. Watch your money, because right now, the only thing that upset me, and I'll just say this, is we give out so much. So many people got, the PPP loans and all of that stuff. Why would you not want to? I mean, there's so many countries that don't even allow their, people of their country to pay for school because they feel like education is necessary. And in America, it is, because certain jobs you can't get if you don't have it, but yet you got to be in all this debt in order to get it. And I think that's not right. So I'm hoping that changes, because I'm tired of that 20,000 is just knocking just a small layer, a really, really small layer of my total student loans, is not even doing anything. I'm still probably never going to pay them. So, but it is what it is. So we'll see. Hopefully that does get overturned.
Definitely. And I didn't really want to talk about this, but this is important because, we're really out here fighting for democracy. So Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker are literally going to be going into I don't even want to say it.
Because it shouldn't even be, but it is what it is.
They're going to be engaged. They're right now engaged in a tight race in Georgia Senate, and it's going to be a runoff. This is not something I don't think any of us saw, but unfortunately, one thing you have to consider is Republicans will do any damn thing to make sure that their person goes in. And this is the same Herschel Walker who was out here flashing a fake badge. This is the same Herschel Walker who is completely against abortion, and yet on a constant basis was forcing women he was dealing with to have abortions, who's been in the news on a consistent basis. So this is the issue that we currently have and that we're dealing with. So Raphael Warnock, actually, as of Wednesday morning, he ended up having a slight lead with 49.2% of the vote compared to Herschel Walker's 48.7%. So since neither candidate actually reached that majority of the overall vote, they're going to have a runoff, and this runoff is going to be set for December 6th. Now, the results of this runoff is there's a lot of major importance to it. This actually can help determine whether Democrats are going to retain their hold of the 50-50 Senate, especially with actually, I believe the two other Senate races have actually been called. So if I'm not mistaken, Democrats still may hold the Senate regardless of what happens.
Right.
But you still want to, but you still want to make sure that Democrats have full control over both the House and the Senate. And a lot of this is actually on the line as this happens. So you have to remember, just recently, as 22 months ago, Georgia turned blue. The first time in years. So right. we have to be able to get this done. People have to go out and vote. We can't take this for granted. One thing I don't know if you actually saw, and I feel like, of course, unfortunately, Stacey Abrams lost. But here's the funny thing about this that I need to stress, right? Brian Kemp won Georgia 53.4% to Stacey Abrams 45.8%. Mm-hmm. So let me give you a rundown of the Georgia governor's exit poll. Mm-hmm. 40% of males voted for Stacey Abrams, 58 voted for Kemp. 51% voted for Stacey Abrams, 48% for Kim. Now, here's where the thing is going to piss you off, and where black women, black people, actually black men and women, were not at fault. White people, 25% voted for Stacey Abrams, compared to 74% to Kim. Black people, 90% voted for Abrams in comparison to 9% for Kim. Latinos, 55-43 for Stacey Abrams. Asians, 54-46.
But she didn't win over white people, which they still are the majority.
Here's where it gets crazy. Now, mind you, we're dealing with women's right to control their bodies, right? White women voted 27% for Stacey Abrams, 72% for Brian Kemp. White men.
This is still the Georgia belt, still the Bible
belt. These are women. These are women who literally their rights are being put on the line.
There's still a lot of women that don't agree that don't agree with abortion.
The one thing that I want to make sure stands out, because black men do get a lot of flack. 84% of black men voted for Stacey Abrams, while 14% voted for Brian Kemp. Fuck that 14%. 93% of black women voted for Stacey Abrams, while 6% voted for Kemp. Now, for Latinos, it was a little bit closer. It was 55-44 for Stacey Abrams, for both Latino men and Latino women. So that should be noted. Now, the younger people, people who literally were our age and younger, majority voted for Stacey Abrams in comparison to Kim.
Right, she had a young turnout.
But the issue is these old white people, and just white people in general, are not voting in ways where it should benefit them the most. So this is where we have the issue. This is where this issue also comes up in the Senate run for Warnock and Herschel Walker. Mm-hmm. So if you're in Georgia, and I know a lot of my friends watch this show who are in Georgia, you need to make sure that you're voting. You need to make sure that the people who didn't vote the last time are voting, because this is a major issue. Like, we go through this every year where we know that voting is imperative. We know the importance of voting, and yet we don't. Now, here's a prime example of people voting against their own needs. Texas. I'm gonna read this off to you. A state record of 9.6 million registered voters in Texas did not vote, breaking the previous mark of 9.3 million set in 2014. Combined with the estimated 1.4 million Texans who are eligible to vote but aren't registered, almost 11 million Texans who could have voted did not. Now, if you're familiar and you remember, we had the horrific shooting that happened in Texas that Governor Abbott was over. Yep. Governor Abbott still beat Beto O'Rourke in spite of that, because people are not going out and voting, or because people are still voting against their actual needs. Right. Like, we have to wake up. We have to be smarter about this. We have to understand that the change that we keep asking for is not going to come unless we make the changes.
A lot of people still feel like they don't need to vote. Just like even the corporate job that I work for, they allotted and gave people time, half a day to go and vote. I think a lot of people didn't. They just took the time off. And even someone I worked with was like, oh no, I didn't go vote. She was like, and she's not Black. And she was like, I didn't go vote. She was like, I just feel like, what's the point? Like, it's already determined. Like, whoever, has the most money, that's who's going to win anyway. So it's like, my vote really doesn't count.
And unfortunately, that's not the case. Because in Florida, Val Demings and Charlie Crist both had
and
great, she's both had a great number. Right. But here's the thing about it. Charlie Crist, I hate to say this, even though I voted for him because I didn't want to vote for DeSantis, Charlie Crist was a Republican governor for the state of Florida. You are still the problem, sir. like in spite of what he decided to run on, which many people call bullshit on, we have to have people in these positions actually running who are actually benefiting for this position. There was no way that Charlie Crist was going to win. Number one, because, and this is the information I got from friends who've been here for a while, and my Spanish friends who say a lot of Cubans still vote Republican because they don't feel as though they fall into what their needs truly are, which is a little concerning because a lot of the votes for DeSantis always comes from Miami. Mm-hmm. That was a big thing. Mm-hmm. So it's just one of those things where money has an impact. Money is not the lasting effect. In the last governor's race for Ron DeSantis, he won, I think, by maybe 0.3 or 0.5% over.
And so that's why people need to realize that your one vote or your 2 or 3 votes from your household can make a difference. So guys, 2024 is around the corner.
I get it together, bro.
Like let's get on this. All right, I'm ready to move on now.
Let's go.
Because these people in voting is not gonna happen. So a wonderful film came out. I can't wait to see the numbers officially for the weekend. Wakanda Forever was released on actually originally on the 10th. It came out that
Thursday night.
The public can go see it.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to see it. You've seen it. We're not here for spoiler alerts at all. But the film was a tribute to Chadwick Boseman and Black women as a whole. If you're a Black woman and you went to see that film, there was no way that you didn't leave there inspired, empowered. Angela Bassett, and I've seen this all over social media. I've seen Black, white say she deserves an Oscar for this performance. I've seen so many people say Angela Bassett killed it in this movie. Nakia killed it in this. They all killed it in this movie. Amazing. Honestly, there's no character that didn't. Like, they all were excellent in this film. And I love that. Around the world, you've seen. I seen my cousins. Her and her whole family went. They had made. They wore all white sweatshirts with the Wakanda logo. Had it made. I've seen so many great images of people that have that have gone and seen it, and just the coordination and some people always say, like, when they make a movie and they do the second part is not always as good as the first one. But in this case, guys, that's not the issue at all. Like, the second one is just as good as the first one, but sadder because we lost the Black Panther. And unfortunately, the tribute to him in this movie was phenomenal. Tremendous. And every time they show his face, I just got chills, and just phenomenal. This is probably going to be the biggest turnout, and this might be the highest box office since pre-COVID of a movie, and maybe even of all time, because every movie theater in the country was playing this movie like every half an hour.
When we went to go see it Thursday night, we had like a 6:45 showing. They were playing the movie every half hour on a different screen, beginning at 4:00. Like, our theater started showing it a little bit earlier than everybody else, and it was completely packed. Yeah. Now I know it is it has recently, as of 4 hours ago, this is on a Saturday that we're actually filming this, $185 million opening weekend at the box office. It's tremendous. The movie is great. Without giving any spoilers, like Shakira said, Angela Bassett, man, she ate. Every scene that Angela Bassett was in, this is like they need to give her this Oscar because it's like, yo, you didn't give it to her for
the
what's
first time, right? Right,
And
you ain't
she
give it
came,
to well, if I do it, you ain't give it to her for Waiting to Exhale, which I felt like she didn't get one for Wait to Exhale, did she?
Nah, she didn't get one for Waiting to
No, but that was a before. Like, you cannot deny the actress she is, the versatility she has, the beauty that she has. The woman is 64 and she looks like she's still in
Angela
Bassett
Bassett groove back. Fine.
And I love men, but Angela Bassett is fine.
So it's what's important to know is they posted Wakanda Forever posted the 10th highest opening day ever at 84 million. Now the opening weekend range is between 175 and 185 million now. Now, this is now as of Saturday. This decimates the November opening record previously held by 2013's Hunger Games Catching Fire at 158 million. Now, there are some who believe that the film could soar at the end of the weekend past $190 million.
Oh, it is.
Now, what makes it hard to predict, of course, is Veterans Day falling on a Friday, so you don't know exactly how much money may have been missed or by that.
The theater was packed when I went, and I went at 2:00 in the afternoon, and the theater was sold out pretty much. And they were playing it until 1:00. Now, I've never went to. I've seen a midnight movie. I've never seen a movie at 1 or 2 in the morning. And I was talking to some family in Charlotte, and they were saying that they were playing the movie till the last movie started at 2 a.m.
Yeah, that's how it was here in Orlando. And the thing about the film is, without giving any, I want to.
No, you can't even go into it. We got to kind of wait at least.
There's things I want to talk about
before we talk about this movie.
We have to come back and talk about this next week.
To come back and talk about
next week. Y'all getting spoilers, dog. You know what I'm saying? I don't care nothing about it because we're gonna fully review the movie next week. Yes. What I will say is, make sure, as usual, that you stay for the credits. Number 2,
for the credits.
Number 2, I ain't even gonna hold you. Y'all know my big ass is unemotional. A thug tear was shed. There were grown men in this theater sniffling.
The man next to me just sat there like,
yeah, that was me. I showed no emotion, but the tear dropped.
The tear dropped for him too. I turned back. I was like, oh, he's in his feelings. Yeah.
That damn Rihanna song, she need to cut that shit out, bro, because that shit live, and they was in the theater singing it, and motherfuckers in there sniffling. Everybody came dressed in white, which I love to see. It was black, brown, white folks in there. Namor is a standout character. I'm so happy for my brown people to have that representation for him. He's actually going to be getting his own standalone film also eventually. It was very heavy on the fight scenes. It's an awesome redemption
The action
story.
Is ridiculous, y'all. Like, from the time, you won't even realize how long you're in the theater because it's just like that. It's like that. It's like, and actually, I'm about to find a movie theater because I seen an ad to see it in 3D. So I saw it in 3D. I gotta go see it in 3D again.
Seeing it in 3D is, and I saw it in 3D.
I gotta go see it in 3D. I didn't
realize it, but what you see in the trailers in 3D, it don't even.
Y'all, so if y'all have a theater and it's in 3D, because I didn't know that they had it in 3D, but the movie theater I went to wasn't showing it in 3D. So I gotta find a movie theater around me that's showing it in 3D, and I'm going back to the movies to see it again in 3D because that's gonna be a game changer. It was already nice. So anyway,
it's already got a really high score as far as ratings for the film. As far as people hating on it, I will say not only is this a tribute to Chadwick Boseman, but like Shakira said, this is a tribute to Black women because the way these black women was holding this film down, the same way the Black women come to the polls and hold it down when we need them to do it for for voting season, and I loved it. I feel like it was an amazing love song. It was heartbroken. It was heartbreaking to see. Of course, Chadwick wasn't there. You can never replace Chadwick for who he was, not only as a star, but for what he meant. Because if you go back and you look at articles and interviews, they tell you he didn't audition. This was his franchise. This was his baby. So when they decided not to recast, it was more or less because of what he meant to the film and the franchise.
They couldn't take nothing away from
him. So like people got to accept that. Like it's a fucking movie. But I will tell you, there's gonna be a surprise in the movie that's gonna do your heart some good, and you're gonna conflicted, but you're gonna.
Well, before you give out,
I'm not gonna give it out. I'm not gonna give it out, but I want people to see the movie and be prepared, because there was a certain part of the movie, I'm not gonna lie to you, where these motherfuckers stood up like it was the Apollo Theater and started clapping and wooing, and I was like, wow. There were white Shakira, and I know you know what part I'm talking about. There were white people in this theater standing up screaming Wakanda forever when this particular part of the movie happened, and they were losing it. So that's all I'm about it.
Yep.
I'm excited. I'm going to go see it again. It was a great movie.
I'm going to go see it again too in 3D. Yep. Great. All right. Up next. Go ahead, because you're the sports person. Let's go. But I do think this is all messed up.
So
this is all messed up.
If you have been under a rock, Kyrie Irving, the Brooklyn Nets star, has actually been serving a 5-game suspension for sharing a link to a film that said to be containing anti-Semitic material. Before he can actually return to play the game, he was given a list required by Joe Tsai, the owner of the team, to complete before that he can return. Now, this list laid out a 6-step plan that he had to take in order to play again. Now I'm going to give you the breakdown of what I really don't think I want to.
I don't think you need to. Y'all should be able to see this. But I will say he got to pay money, and he's suspended for at least 5 games. Is he being punished harshly? Yes. I watched him in an interview the other day, and he was like, how many more times can I apologize at this point, right? But only that, he shared something. It wasn't like, oh, this is all the views that sometimes we just share stuff on social media, not thinking someone's going to take it. And unfortunately, and what he said was, I'm 30 years old. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. Forgive me. Let's move on. Let's play ball. So I do think that this punishment is a little too harsh. And the reality is, it wasn't like he went live and started saying some stuff personally. So I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna give y'all this 6 things, because I know most people ain't gonna. What's that? Is that you or me? You.
I know most people are not gonna go and actually look for the list, but the thing of the matter is, the one thing I will say about the situation is, while I don't blame Kyrie for standing tall and what he feel, I do feel like he could have nipped it in the bud by just being like, no, I'm not anti-Semitic. Like,
and that's it.
The way that it came off to a lot of people was just like, oh, okay, well, he doesn't care. And that's really not the case, because, if you look at Kyrie Irving's history, Kyrie gives back. Like, Kyrie is that dude when it comes to that. The issue that a lot of people have, I know, was the fact that he just didn't denounce it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was one of these things where it's like, yo, you share a link. Now, he ended up denouncing and apologizing after the fact. But the fact of the matter is that him sharing the film, there's a bigger issue, because number one, this is an Amazon film. So why are we not discussing this with Amazon? Why are we not boycotting Amazon to not show this film? Number two, the owner, Joe Tsai, in my opinion, is one of the worst owners in sports. When this guy talks, he literally talks through the media on a consistent basis. He's talking through Twitter. Twitter is not the place where you should be dealing with this stuff with your stars. So let me give you these items that he has to do before he returns. First, he has to apologize and condemn the movie. He has to do a $500,000 donation to an anti-hate cause. He has to go through sensitivity training, anti-Semitic training. He has to meet with the ADL Jewish leaders, and he had to meet with Joe's side to demonstrate an understanding that what he did was wrong. Now, here's the issue that I have with that. This is a grown-ass man. This is a grown-ass black man. You're literally trying to make an example out of him for the wrong reasons in the wrong way. He apologized for it. He stood tall for it. Okay, you want to suspend him for 5 games? That's fine. But the fact that you're the owner of the Alibaba group and they're not completely clean either. And the fact that instead of focus on Kyrie, who only shared a link, which we've all been guilty of sharing a link sometimes and not being fully understanding. Granted, it does not remove you from blame, because yes, we do have to fully understand what we're sharing, but sometimes we don't feel like that's the case. And in this case, he stood tall. He felt like that was not the case. But the fact of the matter is, all this energy has been given to Kyrie Irving instead of being given to Amazon, who's housing the film, who's literally banking more money because this is getting so much traction,
everybody
so much focus, and everybody's watching it. But yet we're like literally dumping on Kyrie. And that's the issue. Now, one of the things that I actually like was NBA players actually coming out and they're actually speaking on his behalf. Also, media personalities. Some of these people literally include LA Lakers star LeBron James. LeBron said, "Hey, I told you guys that I don't believe in sharing hurtful information, and I'll continue to be that way. But Kyrie apologized, and he should be able to play." That's what I think. It's that simple. Help him learn, but he should be playing.
Right, I agree with that.
To get back on the floor, I think is excessive. He's not the person that's being portrayed of him. And I believe a lot of what Kyrie did actually caused harm to people, but that's not what Kyrie is. It was a mistake. Kyrie needs to be back out on the floor. Now, the NBA Players Association is actually going to be talking about this, and they're going to be looking to challenge the rules that actually being stated. As of this Saturday, Kyrie is still not playing. And there's literally not even really a timetable. Now, one thing to keep in mind is Kyrie was just suspended for this, yet the Nets are also looking to bring in Ime Udoka, which, if you're not familiar with who Ime Udoka is the Boston Celtics coach who was just suspended indefinitely by the Celtics for an improper relationship with someone on his team. So where is the morality coming from? Because you're picking and choosing at this point.
Yeah.
If the Celtics, who Ime Udoka literally just took to the finals, decided at some point that what he did was so bad, hey, he does not need to be coaching our team. And now you're talking about bringing him in, but you want to hold Kyrie Irving's feet to the fire also? There's a double standard here. There's a morality issue here where one thing is not too big for the owner, but it's too big for the players. And that's the issue. And when you consider the fact that I think Nick Cannon came out and said he looked at this as bug breaking, and a lot of people.
I seen that interview, and it is. As far, and the interviewer was like, "What does that mean?" Just how we were treated as slaves, making one example of one person as we sit around and watch, and it's not right at the end of the day. It's not right. I mean, like, people can learn their lesson, like, oh, I'll never do that again. Mm-hmm. And should there be some sort of, I understand the sensitivity training. I understand. He's not anti-Semitic though. You know what I mean? So I understand maybe sensitivity training. So to be mindful of other cultures and everything and watch what you share. And I get that. Mm-hmm. Maybe even to suspend for one game, right? Just so he understands that this is severe and there's repercussions when you do something on social media that can impact the brand. But other than that, paying money to an organization that you possibly know might help or might not help, I don't know. Sometimes you don't even know where money's going when you donate to some of these organizations. Real talk. We learned that with Red Cross. So, and they supposed to help people when we're in natural disasters. So I just,
you know what's funny about the Red Cross? People tell me all the time, like, and I've known this for years. People like all the time, don't give no money to the Red Cross because it don't go where it's supposed to go.
It don't go. It just don't. And that's the sad part. And it's like, so you might as well have your just own side money to help people. But I think it's real unfortunate because they are trying to make an example. But I feel like when are they not always trying to make us an example? Because I feel like if this table was turned and this was a white basketball player and he posted something about Black people, I don't think he would have a list of things that he needs to do. He probably will only be suspended for 1 or 2 games, and they probably say he has to take some type of training, and that's it. It wouldn't be all of this. But when it comes to us, it's always harsh. The punishment is always harsh, and I feel like we have endured so much harshness from this country. I don't think we need that to learn a lesson or to learn like, hey, he's young, he's learning, he's growing. Let's give him some benefit of the doubt, slap him on the wrist, let him know it's serious and move on, make an apology, move on. I agree with that. But other than that, this is just too much. So hopefully he will get back on the court soon. It's just, we be owned. That's just, and I'm not going to go into that, but we be owned. Corporations be owning. And although we making millions and millions of dollars, we still owned. And I hate that for us. Not everybody. And when I say that, I mean every single body. But for somebody trying to come at me in the comments, I'm just saying, there's no way you can't feel a little bit like a slave when something like this happened. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I mean, this next thing that you're going to speak about is the perfect segue into that. So
yeah, so on to the season and spices. P. Diddy will be owning possibly one of the largest cannabis dispensaries. He is set with $185 million purchase of major pot players. I don't know why they said pot players, but but I love it because he is now the boss of the first and largest minority-owned weed company in the world. And a lot of the times, and I've said this, and we talked about this in the past. It's like Black people have been in jail for weed. My personal, I have definitely gone to jail because I had weed for recreational purposes at that time. But I did go to jail, and I had a white lady talking to me, talking about it's going to be okay sitting outside the cell. But neither here nor there. So I'm sorry. I said to say, now all of a sudden it's legal in a country that so many Black people have been arrested in jail for a small, as they say, tiny percentage of market of legal weed. And now it's time for us to own it. When this first came out with the whole CBD and cannabis conferences that they were having in Vegas and everything, a lot of us weren't even invited, nor a lot of us couldn't even get on a list to go learn about what they about to do in different states. So to see Diddy have the finances and the opportunity to do this is huge, because it says we can and we should be able to own what we was once quote unquote enslaved to, even though white people was been smoking since the hippie days and all of that. Nobody was getting locked up during those days at all. And even after that, if a white person got caught with a small 20 bag of weed, they weren't getting locked up either. It was a warning, like, put that away. Like, but with us, it's like, you guys again, we're gonna go ahead and put our cuffs on you and lock you up because you're no good to society. You're no good to society.
That's how they was talking to you when they arrested you?
No, I can't tell my arrest story. I can't tell my rest story, but
I'll get you kids whether you like it or not. Now, the one thing I will say is this, because you know they always move the goalposts. So I'm eager to see what's going to happen once Diddy takes control over this, what kind of laws they come up with, because they always come up with more laws.
It's gonna be more laws.
The advancement. The one thing I do love to see is the fact of, we just discussed last week of Jay-Z being a part of a possible ownership group to buy the Washington Commanders, and now this week we're talking about Diddy and his ownership in cannabis. I love to see that that our people are starting to get to the point to where we are deep in ownership, and I'm hoping that it kind of sets off a pattern or path to where we're all considering doing it, even if it's on a lower scale. Like, you know what I mean? I've had friends recently come to me who want us to get our license and be able to own our own and have those things and put ourselves in that position. So I do love to see that. So I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what happens and how this plays out. Like I said, always make sure that you support, because the fact of the matter is, when one person gets in the door, all it does is kick in the door for the rest of us. So we have to take advantage of it.
I don't smoke weed, so I can't support in that aspect. But
I'm not even gonna hold you.
I'm
not even gonna hold you at this point in my life. Weed is legal.
But him acquiring this puts him in that $1 billion status now. So it's him, Jay, and I love the come up, and I know he'll be having a variety of different people working for him, different cultures. Mm-hmm. So it also helps out jobs. And so, yeah, we shall see, I hate for us to acquire stuff and then some other person comes in the mix and we end up selling our stuff.
You mean like BET?
Right. That part. So we shall see what happens.
I hate the fact that we both said that at the same time and we didn't even know.
Right.
Fucking BET, bro. Bring back Donnie Simpson, dog. Bring back Donnie Simpson. Bring back BET Black ownership, man. This is not it.
Yes, because that's when the good shows was out for real. On a sadder note, this weekend, yesterday, I believe, Takeoff was recently laid to rest in Atlanta at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I did not see the whole funeral. I have seen some clips of Quavo. I seen Quavo's post on social media, which was so heartfelt. I did see Offset's his speech during the funeral.
And they asked people not to record. So fucking Black people.
Of course, yeah. Somebody did record his speech. And they played it, and it's real overall really sad. And I just happy to see so much love for him. It's just I want us, the Black man, to live past 50, because we are out here dropping like flies, and it's just a scary thing. And his family did ask for supporters to instead of sending flowers, to actually send to a larger corporation that it fights against gun violence in our communities. So I pray for justice for whoever pulled that trigger. I think they did. I did see something about like they were looking for suspects, but I haven't heard that they actually caught that person that pulled the trigger. So I hope his family does have justice in knowing that that person is going to be put behind bars. Or hopefully not street violence is going to get that person, because we know how karma works. But prayers to his family, his friends, his loved ones, and all of his fans, because this is just not how we're supposed to be dying. We're not supposed to find our dream career, work our dream career, go to a neighborhood of that we all look alike and die because of a game. Something so simple and minute. My thing was, if the guy really wanted money, he could have just asked him for money. He could have just gave him some money. And
that apparently had nothing to do with that. So it just depends on who you ask, but it apparently had nothing to do with that. This was just a dumbass thing to fucking happen.
Yeah. This is horrible.
Having lived in Atlanta literally for half my life, Migos is the culture. Like, I'm a northern dude. Like, I grew up on Biggie and Jay-Z, and those are still my dudes, but you couldn't help but love the Migos, especially, what I mean, what they bought. And Takeoff.
And their vibe, all three of them together just was something special. Like them rapping together. Yeah.
Somebody posted on Twitter and I retweeted it because it was so perfect. And they said the experience in Migos goes like this. First, you think Quavo was a superstar. Then you realize Offset's flow is better. Finally, you wake the fuck up and you accept that Takeoff is the best rapper in the group and they probably wouldn't be Migos without him. Long live Takeoff. Takeoff is a person who actually birthed that flow that Migos have, and both Quavo and Offset,
each other, right?
Yeah, both Quavo and Offset both stated that Takeoff was the person who created their style of flow. He was the reason he got the name Takeoff was because literally he could knock everything out within one take.
One take, right?
Everyone in Atlanta, everyone in the industry knew Takeoff was quiet. Like this dude was completely unproblematic. He was not the flashy. I mean, of course they were all flashy, but he was not the flash. He wasn't out there like Quavo. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't, he wasn't standing out like Offset. Takeoff was literally the one who wanted to play the back. And his flow was impeccable. His flow was great. And it's being felt all throughout Atlanta. They actually showed it, and friends of mine reached out. You couldn't get to downtown Atlanta Friday. Because downtown Atlanta was literally shut down. His procession actually went through the city. Takeoff, I believe, is actually from Lawrenceville. And literally everyone in Atlanta was there. They were lining up. The funeral was held in the State Farm Arena, which is where the Hawks played, and it was completely packed. It was sold out immediately because the tickets were first come, first served. This is a heartbreaking loss for hip hop. For the city of Atlanta. He actually received the Phoenix Award during the funeral. They presented it to his family, which is the highest award you can get in the city of Atlanta for the impact that you have on the city. There's murals there everywhere, but you could not go anywhere without hearing the Migos. Whether this was in Philly, New York, Atlanta,
when they came out,
created that time period.
They changed the game. When they came out, their flow, their connection, their who they are, the just their style of rapping, I feel like they kind of put Atlanta back on the map. I'm not gonna say like back on, but for their generation, they were it. They were that next, like outside of TIP and Luda, like that. Yeah, they were that next generation. Right.
They were that new generation for that, and they held it down. I mean, they birthed so many styles out here that's still crazy. Now, outside of Offset and Quavo both speaking, of course, who we're also hearing that they're actually repairing their relationship also, which is something that we wanted before this happened. It's unfortunate that I've experienced that before, also in losing my aunt. I talk about all the time, me and my biological father literally became close when this happens, and a lot of times that's literally what causes it. Outside of Quavo and Offset speaking, it was a 3-hour send-off for Takeoff. There were actually performances from Justin Bieber, Chloe Bailey, and Yolanda Adams. Drake, who apparently got really emotional, actually read a poem and spoke for Offset. And then there were also words from P from Quality Control, the founder of the label that actually housed Amigos, and Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens. So this is something that's going to be felt for a while, man. Like, it has to get to a point where we have to stop. I'm not going to speculate.
Stop killing each other. I mean,
I'm not going to speculate on the things that like I've heard and from people who are like close to the situation, but I can tell you right now, it's probably not going to end well. Because it's not,
you're talking about Atlanta people. It's the South. They can get Atlanta could get a little rough.
And what's crazy about Atlanta is most of us are not even from the city.
No,
everybody in Atlanta. So you do have people who are from Atlanta in Atlanta, but so the newer people, we don't really fuck with them. Like, even my best friend, one of my best friends who's from Atlanta, he's like, bro, he's like, yeah, you're from Philly, but you're from Atlanta. Like, I've been in Atlanta since I was, what, 12, 11?
Oh yeah, you're from Atlanta, right?
Yeah, like, I mean, my slang is still Philly. Like, when you talk to me, you still know I'm from Philly. But growing up in the city, and like, Atlanta's a place where you see entertainers and you're around entertainers, and it's so common.
Yeah.
And like, you're just enthralled in it. So it's like when somebody from the city is lost, it's a huge void, because folks ride for them. Like, people from Atlanta really, like, I mean, you look at Childish Gambino, the show Atlanta, like, it's really a real representation. Like, Atlanta is literally Black Hollywood, and it's one of those things where seeing this lost, like, you see what it is. Now, like I said, I'm not going to speak on the situation, but it's a lot going on, and it's unfortunate that in the hip hop community, we folks want street justice. They don't care nothing about the police, this and that and the other.
They want street justice. Hopefully, and I don't want more lives taken in the process of trying to take one. Right. You know, we're losing too many people. I just believe that justice will be served to him, and I hope it's the right way. And take off, you will be missed. 28 years old, 28 years young, and didn't get an opportunity to really even tap into where, you know, they were gonna go. So
they had just dropped the nephew and the uncle feud.
They just dropped their album. I know. Yeah. So now Takeoff not gonna want to go on tour without him. He going to, but that's gonna take some time, and y'all got to give that man his time, because that honestly was like his brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's gonna take him a while. They've been inseparable for their whole lives. So I just whoever is really close to him, just keep that man supported with love, because it's gonna take a while.
Takeoff was a man, yo. Like, I love his lyrics, but I always think about Fight Night. He was like, if you know me, know to see my funk spray, certified that I ain't got to prove my resume. I was listening to Fight Night in the gym yesterday, and it was like, word? It was like, play it again. So we ran it back like 3 times. Fight Night is my jam. Like, he comes in there real crazy. I love Takeoff. I love what Takeoff represents. So RIP to Takeoff. Condolences to his family. And make sure, when these artists pass, one of the greatest gifts that we can give to the family is to stream their music.
Yeah, I was gonna say buy their album, download their album on whatever apps you already paying for. Stream. Because he left behind a lot of family that love and care about him, and I'm sure he supported a lot of them as well. So let's make sure that we continue to show him love and give him the flowers. Now I gotta watch their drink champs.
Come on, throw your mans down. Come on, yo! I'm about to blast some Migos when I'm done. Boy, you got me hyped.
I see. So be on what we're on right now. Another
I'm gonna beat the pussy up like Fight Night.
That's probably hit him with the left. Favorite.
Hit him with the right, yo.
That song is fire though.
Yeah, you was ready to lose it. I seen you was about to have your cash money thing off of the 992. You was about to have your moment. When Fight Night come on in the club, women lose it, and it is a beautiful view.
I bet.
I miss old Atlanta nightclub days. I hate Atlanta now for what it's become.
This girl I follow on social media, and that's all she does. Like, she's from Atlanta, from like live, and she'll be like, 10 worse, supermarkets to go to. Don't go to this one. Don't go to that one. And then she'll put like, what is the hottest clubs that no longer is open that you used to, and people be all in the comments like, no, this one was number one, so yeah. But Atlanta know how to party. That's the first place I went where I was like, oh.
And we used to be all through the city.
I know how to party. So yeah, things changed a lot. Especially when my mom used to live down there. That was like
They out here shooting people at Lenox
07.
Mall, bro. Lenox Mall used to be the place where you could
Lenox
go.
Mall, where a lot of people didn't even go because they couldn't afford the stuff in there. And then when they did go, it was a flex. You see celebrities, you see, yeah. So
we used to work Friday and Saturday night, and then we would go Sunday to Lenox Mall. And if we had some bread, we would spend some bread. You know what I'm saying? But that's like in the early days, because then Lenox Mall became something completely different, and then you can never find parking. And then they was in there shooting folks on the mall.
Atlanta got too much. So I want to just say RIP to, and this is a New York rapper. So if you don't know, her name was Hurricane G. She recently passed. If you're not from New York, you're probably gonna be like, I don't know who she is. But Hurricane G used to run with a part of even Terror Squad. I didn't realize she actually is the baby mother of Eric Sermon, first daughter. And she's the one that on Redman's first album, forgot the name of the song, but she'll be like, yo, Redman, man, come up with that punk smooth tonight. She's the voice. That's her. And she's Puerto Rican and Black, but she passed away recently from cancer. And just want to say RIP.
First lady in his squad.
Yep. Then Kevin Conroy, one of the first voices to Black Batman, recently died in his 60s. I don't know the cause yet, but that's another RIP that I just want to send out. Batman, we all know Batman, but he's one of the original voices.
Kevin Conroy was literally like most of our childhoods, because it was Batman, the animated series that ran in the 90s. Like
that was my show.
Yeah, that was really what he was known for. But he was also the mayor of Red Bank in Jay and Silent Bob movie. He was Batman in the Justice League movie. Who else was he? He played a lot of roles, but mainly for most of us, he was literally Batman. So
yes, RIP to him. Now we need to wrap up this show because my day is long, and this has been a wonderful, wonderful show. So we're gonna go to our topic off. Will, what are you listening to? What are you watching?
I'm listening to Dixon. Dixon is an amazing artist.
Never heard of him.
He has a song. He has a really popular song out. It's a nasty song with that fine ass 7th Streeter called Cherry Sorbet. He's an amazing artist. Well, it's not nasty. It's a double entendre, but you get the gist of what Cherry Sorbet is. He's an amazing artist. His album is actually out now. So I'm listening to him. I'm listening to India Shawn. India Shawn has an amazing album out. She has a song out there with Black, which is amazing. Also, I'm streaming a lot of Migos right now. Since Takeoff's death is coming up even more, only because I personally believe in making sure you stream. I did the same thing for PNB Rock. I'm actually still listening to a lot of I'm listening to PNB Rock stuff that I didn't realize had came out. Shout out to Philly. And what am I watching right now? All American, and All American.
I can't get All American, but when it comes to Netflix, I'll watch it.
All American and All American Homecoming are really good. All American Homecoming actually just had a really great. It was a powerful episode where the school was actually locked down.
Don't tell me anything about All American right now.
Well, I got to tell you this because this was the episode that literally everybody talked about in the news. They had a powerful episode. So All American Homecoming takes place at a HBCU, and they had an episode where the college was placed on lockdown because they received a bomb threat. So you got to see how.
Oh, that's from last season.
No, this is from this season. This was the newest episode.
Okay, I thought there was another one.
Come on, catch up. Support Black cinema. Okay, now we know you was out here on the polls for George W. Bush, but stop this.
Okay.
What do you?
Whatever.
What are you watching? What are you listening to right now?
I've just been binging. What have I been binging? Can't think of the name, so clearly it's not that important. I've just been binging anything that is binge worthy on Netflix right now. I've been on Netflix. Yeah, I was watching this show called Blockbuster.
Oh, is it good? I haven't. I gotta start there.
I like dry humor. You like dry humor.
So it's kind of like, I heard it's kind of like The Office.
Yes, dry humor.
Oh, I gotta watch it.
Because I was like, Blockbuster. It's like he's the last blockbuster in the country. So interesting. And I remember how much I loved Blockbuster and used to go, get my mom to take me to get like 5 movies that I got to return in 3 days. But so it's a little nostalgic, but yeah, that's what I'm watching.
We used to go to Blockbuster to pick up girls.
When did you not go out to pick up girls?
That's not who I am. Don't judge me.
But anyway, I'm not listening to anything right now.
Oh, please, if you get a chance, if you love good R&B, Tank has an album out that dropped in August called R&B Money.
Oh, I heard that. Yeah.
That song Slow with Jay Valentine.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes. Now. Yes. I listened to it when it came out, his album. I haven't listened to it recently, but
that Jay Valentine Slow.
I can't. I haven't listened to too much R&B.
Because you a savage out here. You out here listening to old Rod Digger albums and
hey, don't hate on Rod Digger, okay?
Oh, I'm not hating, but I know
you're a Jersey queen. She is a Jersey queen. I was in a video that she did years ago.
You was in the Rod Digger video?
It was her and the Outsiders. They're from Jersey.
What video is it?
It was I don't remember the name. I'll have to find it. I was like 13, and it was like a crowd dancing, and it was crazy. It was fun to be in a video though, because I didn't know how that worked, but had my moment of shine. It was
the greatest thing the state of Jersey made was Uptown Anthem and Queen Latifah. Other than that, y'all be biting our style. We
we don't. No, we don't. You're a hater. We are
all Jersey does is bite our style.
Y'all. I be telling my brother that. I keep telling you that. Like
we're what?
We never.
We're what? Wait, you said we're country?
I've always thought Philly was country.
How the hell do you think Philly is country? Y'all say all our words, dog. What do you mean? How are we country?
What words?
We are literally the city. Y'all from like Newark. Newark is where like the trees and all that shit is. We ain't got that. We got crackheads in alleyways out there.
We pick more New York slang than picking Philly slang. So
y'all
anyway.
Y'all you guys don't want to. I just heard a nigga say the word John a couple days ago and was using it the wrong way. He from Jersey, and he was like,
"Well, he must be from the wrong part of Jersey because no Jerseys do not use the word John.
That's all
never.
Do.
We don't say John.
Y'all want to be us. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got
we don't. Anyway,
y'all got the nappy.
All right, guys.
Y'all want to be us. You know what I'm saying?
I want to thank you. We want to thank you for watching this episode.
Up like fight night.
And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And I don't know. Don't be like Will. Whatever you do, don't be like Will this week. Okay.
I'm amazing.
So have a wonderful. We'll see you next week.
I'm